So yeah, 2020. What has 2020 meant to you guys? We're going to take a look back as well at what actually happened in 2020. Try and get some kind of hold. What happened in 2020? Let's have a look. That's way too many things to read. We're going to make it up. 2020. What happened in 2020? Okay. 1. Aslan returned. Okay. The great and powerful lion himself. He finally returned. He did it. You know, it took some time, but finally, that is what happened. Sorry. All right. Aslan returned. 2. And it was an unfortunate tale. But Aslan had a fight with Mary Poppins. Okay, it was a tough time. Okay, people really struggled with it. Some say it was an unfair fight. 1, because Aslan's a lion, but 2, because Mary Poppins has a magical umbrella. Okay, it's and everybody thinks like, oh, Aslan's gonna win because, you know, all that stuff. People forgot about that umbrella, you know, and the fact that it was diamond tipped on the end, and she concealed a blade in the end of her umbrella. Okay, it was a huge issue. It didn't make national news because obviously the news only reports on the quote-unquote important stuff that happened this year. You know, and speaking of, we had the US election, okay? Where in the US, they picked a new president, okay? And, you know, people were pretty pleased to know that the new president is a blue whale. Okay, so that happened too. This is not how you draw a whale, but that happened. Okay. It was an interesting battle and stuff like that. Battle with a French fry. And but people ended up picking the blue whale. Okay. Four. They actually rediscovered the One Ring from Lord of the Rings. Okay, nobody really expected for it to return because they threw you know, Gollum into the fire with the ring and all that stuff. But it turns out didn't kill him because of global warming. Okay. So they thought that the planet was getting really hot and stuff, and that there was, you know, a bunch of lava and all that. But it turns out it didn't work. It was actually, by that point, all of the quote unquote lava it got really cool. So the One Ring returned. It's been something that people have kept on the down low for 2020 because quite frankly, you know, how do you really explain about somebody being invisible showing up and all that stuff, especially after all this time, the thousands of years? But it happened. Yeah, we did make it through. Jennifer, it's good to see you. How's it going? 2020 is the year I started watching Twitch and found you and a bunch of amazing people. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Pochi, hello, good to see you. Eyebrow, hello, good to see you as well. What's happening right now? If you're questioning what happened in 2020, then, you know, ultimately, it makes no sense. Jolo Bear, hello, good to see you too. Fact checked it, it's legit, exactly. Okay, so that's all happened. Moving forward. Five, the fifth thing that happened in 2020. Does anybody remember what it was? Hi, Sergey, good to see you. Happy New Year's Eve, bud. Anybody remember the fifth thing that happened in 2020? Correct. I lost my shoe. Okay, it was a really big part of 2020. They actually sent out search parties. They had the sirens going, the red and the blue. Ooh. Had the sirens going on the old police car. Ooh, 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 ooh. And all that stuff. Hey Harry, thanks for the 200 bits, buddy. Hey Gid, just popping in to say thank you for the raid on Christmas. Mid to late December has been the worst for me personally, so that meant a lot. Maybe you can have a good New Year's night. Sure, I'll be in and out of chat. Oh, thank you so much, bud. I really do appreciate the kind words. Thank you for all that. Do 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 do. All right. So yeah, that was the fifth thing that happened. We lost my shoe. The police got involved. They tried really hard to search for it. Unfortunately, couldn't find it. Do you know why they couldn't find it? I never really lost it. Okay. Now, I didn't tell anybody that until now. But 2020 has also been a year for honesty. Okay. I think that's very important. I think it's something that people may not have realized. But I think the more cooped up we've been inside, the more people have been honest, not only with each other, but with themselves. And I think that's an important part of 2020. Okay. Now, I don't know about you, but one of the biggest parts of 2020 was something I just couldn't forget, okay? They had the Great Triangle Race, okay? Now, you know, if you're telling me you don't remember the Great Triangle Race of 2020, then my goodness, where have you been living? Under a rock? Probably not a triangular rock, that's for sure. But yeah, in 2020 they had the Great Triangle Race. It was a challenging time. It was a challenging time for everyone. You had all the various triangles coming at you. Right angle triangles, you had acute stuff, you had obtuse stuff, okay? Equilaterals. They were doing what they could. You had an isosceles in there somewhere. All that stuff. And you know, it was a crazy race because people just weren't expecting a lot of people just expected the equilateral to win just because of the way it could flip and had like good momentum going down the hill. Nobody expected the isosceles triangle, man. You know, it had the long point. I think that's what really sold it on getting the win. People won a lot of money that day. And that brings me on to the next thing that happened. You had the Wall Street crash, okay? But it didn't just crash normally like it did last time, okay? This time it was because of Bitcoin, okay? You had the Wall Street crash of Bitcoin happened in 2020. And it again was a crazy time. People just weren't expecting cryptocurrency to be such a big thing, and now here we go into 2021 with people having all kinds of finances and in different online areas. But I think the craziest thing about the Wall Street crash of Bitcoin was the fact that it was a giant rhino that crashed into the actual building, and that's what really threw people off. You know, people had their trepidations about herding rhino in a big city. But, you know, ultimately it came to pass that it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. A lot of people benefited from the great Wall Street crash of 2020. Okay. And the ninth thing that happened in 2020 was that steak finally went extinct. Okay. And it was, again, a huge issue. People were screaming, where is the steak? How do we deal with this lack of steak? We don't know what to do. You know, it was a mistake. A lot of people were screaming that. Turns out people just hadn't killed any cows. Cows were fine. But yeah, steak went extinct for a while. And then came back. So that happened. The double L looks wrong next to the whale. The whale's a happy guy, okay? Let's leave him be. Let's leave him be. If I put this video up on YouTube, let's not get it demonetized based on that, okay? It's a double L. Better. All right. So, and number 10. Who could forget number 10, okay? The biggest thing that happened in 2020, okay, was the year was actually supposed to be 1010, okay? Twice. You know, and that was huge, because people forget what happened in 1010. Do you guys remember what happened in 1010? I certainly do. If you guys are telling me you don't remember, Ramon Borrell, Count of Barcelona, sacking Cordoba, okay? And then on June 2nd, the Battle of Akbat al-Bakar takes place in the context of the fitna of Al-Andalus, resulting in a defeat of the Caliphate of Cordoba, right? If you guys don't remember that, where have you been living? You know, I would like to point out, like I said, if you don't remember any of this stuff, it may not all be completely strictly accurate. Not completely. Whoops, not completely. Not completely inaccurate, okay? I'd say it's been... Yeah, that's a pretty accurate understanding of what happened in 2020, if you ask me. And thusly, we move forward into 2021. Now, as for what's going to happen in 2021, you know, I really hope steak doesn't become extinct again, because that would be an issue. Okay, but we're just gonna have to move back to the year of 10-10 plus 10-11. Let's just take a picture of this. All right. Well, I might turn that into a YouTube video. It's my what happened in 2020 thing. So just leave a marker there. Thanks, YouTube. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, maybe I'll do another one of these in the future. Maybe next year. We'll figure it out.